As Jonas said, our organization, Western Sahara Resource Watch, is researching and campaigning about resource exploitation in Western Sahara. And I will give you a short overview over resource exploitation and some problems that come with it. The previous speakers already mentioned some. And just a short question, does the presentation work? If not, okay, I will just continue. So you just have to listen. So first of all, what resources are we talking about? I would say the most important ones are phosphate, fisheries, and renewable energy. I will give you a little bit more information about these three. Then also pretty important is agriculture, mainly tomatoes and melons, ending up in European supermarkets. And then to a lower extent, but still happening, sand, salt, red algae, and oil and gas exploration are going on. So phosphate rock is used for the production of fertilizer, so a highly demanded raw material, as you can imagine. And Morocco controls about 3/4 of the global phosphate reserves, and most of the mines are located in Morocco proper. Just one, the Bukra mine, is in the occupied territory. And we have been tracking and documenting the phosphate trade for more than 10 years. We track the ships leaving the port of El Ayoun to various destinations. So problems with phosphate exploitation, voila, here we go. So next, no problem. Next slide, please. Yeah, that's next one. So now we are on track. So of course, phosphate exploitation is without consent of the Sahrawi people is against international law, as we already heard. But also, phosphate in Morocco is state-owned, managed by a company called OCP. So this means phosphate trade is direct profit for the occupying power. The Bukra mine is then a source of income to finance the occupation. And as you see here, the income of the Bukra mine is constantly rising. It's difficult to know the exact value, but we estimate that for 2022, that's the last data we have compiled. 23 is not ready yet, unfortunately, but we estimate that 22, the value of the phosphate traded from the Bukra mine is could be up to $655 million US. Next slide, please. Currently, main importing countries are Mexico, New Zealand, and India. In India, the phosphate buyer is a company owned by OCP itself, and there are several worrying developments. One is that the Bukra mine consists of 2 layers. There's a first layer of a higher quality, and a second layer of lower quality, so more value, less value. And we are not sure if it might be that this first layer is already gone. There are OCP reports from some years ago. They are contradictory, so we are not sure, but it might be that this first layer of high value is already gone. And then Morocco keeps on investing in infrastructure in the occupied territory. A new port in El Ayoun has been built, and a fertilizer factory for fertilizer made of phosphate. So soon, not only raw material will be exported, but the ready-made fertilizer. Next slide, please. The fishing industry. Again, fishing without consent of the Sahrawi people is against international law, but also the agreements and the programs supporting the Moroccan fishery are actually very clearly supporting fishing in the occupied territory. Schilder already mentioned or told one number. Next slide, please. We have a lot of numbers, a lot of data from the Moroccan government and also from the European Union, which show that really most of the fishing is actually taking place in Western Sahara. When you have first a look at the famous fishery a partnership agreement between Morocco and the European Union. Morocco gets about 50 million per year as compensation for the European vessels to fish in the waters of Morocco. And between 19 and 20, 77% of the money reserved to build infrastructure was actually used to build infrastructure in Western Sahara. Then a number from the Moroccan government. No, that's from the EU Commission, the next number. The rate of catches under this agreement between 14 and 18, 92% of the catches were in Western Sahara. Next number from Morocco again, 2020, 73% of the coastal and artisanal catches were in Western Sahara. And then the last one, the European Union has a list of approved exporters for food products, food producers. And last year, half of the exporters for shellfish listed under Morocco is in fact located in Western Sahara. Next slide, please. Renewable energy. There's a massive increase of renewable energy projects. It's very challenging to keep track. It's wind, solar, green hydrogen, and ammonia projects. And Morocco is positioning itself as a global leader in sustainable energy, and the world needs sustainable energy. That's no question about that. But still, the Moroccan activities in this sector, they have to be put in the context of the occupation. For instance, I think someone already mentioned the issue. All but one wind farm in the occupied territory, in all but one wind farm, a company called Nareva is involved. Nareva is the wind energy company belonging to the Moroccan king. So again, we have a direct profit for the occupying power and for the leader of the occupying power. Then wind energy is used for exploitation of non-renewable resources. 95% of the energy used to run the Boukra phosphate mine is made from windmills. And the Morocco risks to implicate other states by exporting wind energy. There's the plan to export energy to Europe, and the European Union has promised to not import wind energy or renewable energy from Western Sahara, but the energy will pass in a cable under the Strait of Gibraltar, so it's technically not possible to differentiate this energy. Then again, where are the projects located? Like fisheries, most renewable projects are realized in Western Sahara. According to a Moroccan public investment report for this year, up to 81% of the land the Moroccan government has earmarked for renewable projects is located in Western Sahara. Then another study by the Moroccan government published spring last year. There it is stated that apparently the best place to produce green hydrogen is Western Sahara. Next slide, please. Now the last topic I would like to talk about, the topic of renewable energy is very closely linked to the issue of climate change and of climate justice. The Sahrawi, what you see here, a sandstorm in the refugee camps, pretty depressing, I think. The Sahrawi population in the refugee camps is heavily affected by climate change. They have been displaced to a region in the Sahara, which is much more, which feels much more the impact of climate change than in the coastal area where they had to flee from. Also, next slide, please. That's floods in the refugee camps. They had to abandon their traditional nomadic life to respond to environmental challenges, because they are stuck in the refugee camps. And Morocco, in its reporting to the UN climate body, UNFCCC, Morocco includes the energy projects in Western Sahara as part of its own commitment to reach the Paris Agreement, the Paris Agreement targets. And another point, the Sahrawi Arabic Democratic Republic has not been recognized as a UN member, as you all know. So Western Sahara is still listed as a non-self-governing territory, and which has, of course, to do with the Moroccan occupation and with the blocking of the referendum on self-determination. And this, in turn, means that the Sahrawi Republic cannot ratify or sign UNFCCC or the Paris Agreement, and therefore they are locked out of climate negotiations, also from global government talks and from finance mechanisms. So concerning green energy and climate justice, there is a total unbalance of how the Sahrawi people are negatively affected by and how they can sit at the table, negotiate and also contribute to the solution. Next slide, please. Thank you very much. That was my short introduction to resource exploitation in Western Sahara.
Thank you so much.